Be thankful for what you have while working for what you want. For a long time, I thought those two things couldn't exist in the same space. I thought if I wanted more, it meant I wasn't grateful enough. If I wanted a bigger opportunity, maybe I wasn't appreciating the one I had. If I wanted more money, maybe I was being greedy. If I wanted more freedom, maybe I was complaining about a life that many people would be grateful to have. But the older I get, the more I realize gratitude and desire are not opposites. They're not enemies. And today, I want to talk about that guilt that comes with wanting more.
Subscribe to my mommy's channel, like, comment, and share.
Hey y'all, welcome back to Where is the Manual? It's your girl Kiki. And today, I want to talk about something that's been sitting with me lately. The guilt of wanting more. Not because I'm necessarily unhappy, not because my life is bad. Interestingly, in many ways, my life is exactly what I prayed for, right? I have an amazing daughter. I'm healthy. I've built a career that I'm proud of. I have a home, a car. I have money in my bank, right? I've traveled places I've dreamed about visiting. I've overcome challenges that at one point felt impossible. And yet, there is still a part of me that wants more. More freedom, more flexibility, more financial security, more time, more experiences, more peace, more opportunities. And sometimes that desire comes with guilt because somewhere along the way, many of us learn that if our basic needs are met, we should just be grateful, stop asking for more. But what if gratitude was never meant to stop us from growing? For a lot of my life, success meant survival, paying the bills, keeping it moving, taking care of responsibilities, basically handling what's in front of you. And honestly, as a single mom, survival mode can become your default setting, right? It is always on, like, I have to do these things for your child. You get so focused on making sure everything and everyone is okay that you stop asking yourself what you actually want or need. You become efficient, you become responsible, you become dependable, and somewhere in all of that, your own desires get pushed to the bottom of the list. And then one day you wake up and realize, I've spent years taking care of everything and everyone, but what have I been doing for myself? Not just for my daughter, not just for my family, my friends, not just for my job, for me. And that's a hard question to answer. I think especially for women, right? Mothers, we get praised for all our sacrifices, but never really our desires. Let's talk about this idea of the soft life, because I think people hear that phrase and immediately think luxury or dating a rich person, designer bags, private vacations, fancy brunches. Although all of that sounds great too, but that's not necessarily what I mean. The soft life I'm talking about is I'm wanting peace. The soft life I want is not checking my bank account before every purchase. The soft life I want is taking care of my daughter and making sure that we are able to go on trips because we want to go and not because I spent 6 months figuring out how to make it work and sacrificing and working hard. The soft life I want is being able to rest without feeling guilty. The soft life I want is not carrying every responsibility by myself. The soft life I want is having options. And honestly, I don't think that's too much to ask. I think sometimes we romanticize struggle so much that we've forgotten that life is supposed to be enjoyed too. Why do we act like exhaustion is proof that we're doing enough? Why do we celebrate burnout like it's some badge of honor? Why do we think everything meaningful has to be difficult? I'm not saying that life should have or should not have any challenges. I'm just saying I don't want to struggle all the time. I don't want that to be my permanent address. Can I be honest? So, of course, I want more money. And I used to feel uncomfortable saying that out loud, especially as a woman, especially as someone who works in mission-driven spaces. But being in HR has empowered me to advocate for more. People get so uncomfortable when women openly talk about wanting wealth. But here's the thing. I don't want more money because I want to impress anyone. I want more money because money creates choices. Money means I don't have to choose between opportunities and obligation. Money means I can invest in my daughter's experiences, and trust me, she wants to do a whole lot. Money means I can help my family if needed. Money means I can breathe a little easier. Money pretty much gives you freedom. And I think many of us secretly want more money, but feel guilty admitting it, as if wanting financial abundance somehow makes us shallow. But if money gives you the ability to create a better life for yourself and the people you love, what's wrong with wanting more of it, right? But if I'm really honest, the thing I want most isn't money. It's time. As parents, we hear it constantly. They grow up so fast. And when your child is little, it sounds very cliche, right? I mean, so many people like treasure these moments. It's gonna go by fast. And then, of course, you're like, whatever. And then one day you realize it's true. And mind you, my daughter's only 7. I look at my daughter now and she's not my baby anymore. She has opinions. She has interests that are completely different from mine. She's becoming her own person. And it's beautiful to see. But it's also happening so fast. And I start thinking about my age and praying that I'm able to see her become a productive adult and have her own family. But in the same time, I'm like catching myself wondering, how many moments am I missing because I'm trying to build a future? How many memories are squeezed between meetings and deadlines and things that I have to do? How many times have I said just a minute to her, right? But what I really want is more time. And I think that so many mothers are chasing the same thing. Not just money, not just success, not just achievement. We're chasing time. Time to be present, time to enjoy our children, time to enjoy ourselves, time to actually live. One of the reasons I started my business is because I realized I wanted a different relationship with my life. Not because entrepreneurship is easy, because it is not at all. Some days, actually most days, it feels harder than any job I've ever even had. But I wanted to see if I could build something that aligned with my values, something that gave me more ownership, more flexibility, more possibility. I didn't start a business because I had all the answers, because I sure don't. I started because I was willing to ask different questions. What if success looks different? What if I didn't have to choose between impact and flexibility? What if I could build something that supported the life I actually want? I don't know exactly where this journey will lead me, but I know I do not want to spend the next 10 years wondering what if, right? Wondering what if wanting more is actually growth. I think the biggest lie guilt tells us is if you were truly grateful, you wouldn't want more, right? That's a lie. But when I think about every area of growth in my life, it started with wanting something more or different, right? More knowledge, more opportunity, more healing, more confidence, more courage, more purpose. So maybe wanting more isn't a character flaw. Maybe it is growth, trying to get your attention. Maybe it's God placing something on your heart for a reason. Maybe it's a sign that you've outgrown the space you're currently in. So today, I wanted you to sit with a few questions that I've been thinking about myself, right? Where have you convinced yourself to settle because you felt guilty wanting more? What dreams keep showing up that you continue to push away? Because Lord knows I was supposed to be starting this business at least 5, 6 years ago. What would you pursue if you weren't worried about being judged, right? Or worried about, is it going to work out? Will I fail? What does your version of the soft life actually look like? And are you building a life that moves you closer to those needs and those desires and those dreams? Here's the final lesson. Maybe the goal isn't to choose between gratitude and ambition. Maybe the goal is to hold both, to be thankful for everything you've built thus far, to celebrate how far you've come, and still give permission to want more, right? Still give permission to want more peace, more joy, more freedom, more abundance, more life. Because wanting more doesn't make you ungrateful. It means you're still growing. And growth is nothing to apologize for. This is Where is the Manual? Because clearly nobody gave us one. But maybe today's lessons is you don't have to shrink your dreams to prove you're grateful for your blessings. You can honor both, and maybe that's exactly where your next chapter begins.
Subscribe to my mommy